Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. We're looking today at why did people after the flood cease living so long. So thanks for being here. We're going to use for a little bit of our information, Creation versus Evolution by Arlo Molenpaugh, just an incredible introduction to creation science. But we'll discuss some things. So actually, beginning in the garden, no sin, death came by sin. They were going to live forever. Because of sin, that's really when the ages began to get shorter and shorter. Now, man, like Adam lived to be 930 years. Enoch, 969 years. Was it Enoch? No, it wasn't Enoch. It was, that was Methuselah. I think I said in the last video, I messed that up, that Enoch lived to be 969. It was Methuselah. And, but they weren't living forever, obviously. Well, then the flood comes, and by the time you get to Abraham, not long after the flood, Noah lived another 350 years or so after the flood. He lived to be 950. But Abraham only lives to be 175, but he lived to be a good old age, the Bible, and gathered to his people. So now, it's 70 plus 10, or reason of strength, 80. Well, I know some people that have lived older. Brother McIntyre, Brother Steve Cole's father-in-law, Sister Cole's dad, just died at 101, and, Brother Marler's still preaching at 89, 90, But, still, it's not 900 years. Now, like reptiles, they never quit growing. So dinosaurs could have just been reptiles who, because they were living 900 years instead of, several decades, just kept growing, But there were different types. We know from the skeletal remains were different types. A lot of those remains, though, in the flood, the fossil record, show so many things in the death pose. It's kind of like a curved pose, which is pretty fascinating. It's Genesis history, I know a lot of that, but there's a lot of great videos on that anymore, and a lot of shorts on that now, too. But after the flood, it seems like possibly that maybe there was a mechanism, in the floods of the great deep, but also the heavens above, a vapor canopy, but it would have been a vapor canopy. You could have still seen the stars and the moon and all that through, that it blocked out certain harmful sun's rays, gamma rays, and all this. But that's the reason people immediately after the flood began living shorter and shorter times. And, Satan comes, steal, kill, and destroy. There were diseases. There was all kinds of things. It does seem before the flood, and I did a video on this not long ago, that people, mankind, animals were all vegetarian. And a lot of people have a struggle with that. My thoughts are that God would have created us with the potentiality for omnivorism before the flood and just kicked in after the flood. But before that, we're vegetarians. It kind of goes against paleo. That's one reason I'm not a big paleo guy. And you're like, that's the reason you're so fat. But we're not even going to go into all this. But it's because paleo has an evolutionary mindset that we were hunter-gatherers, and then we gradually came into cities, the various cities around the world, the very famous ones, and all this ancient Mesopotamia, the Fertile Crescent. Whereas biblically, it doesn't seem that's the case. It seems like there was agriculture from the very beginning, and then it was after the flood we became hunter-gatherers. So anyhow, that's why there were changes that happened in the flood, and it very well could have had to do with atmospheric changes as well. There may have been other changes, if things aren't living robustly 900 years old, plants, the megafauna, megaflora that we find all around the world, such as the Cambrian explosion, things are just bigger, massive, dragonflies and all this. Maybe it decreased our our nutrients as well. The oxygen levels were a little lower. So anyhow, God bless. We love you. I'm just thankful I know Jesus is our creator. We'll see you. Bye-bye.